The one that's most tangible and most pervasive across the region is really regulatory risk. It's about the decisions that can happen at a provincial level, to a certain extent a federal level, and the municipal level around development permits, around rules for occupancy and housing. I can say that the federal changes to CMHC underwriting for apartment product and mortgage approvals have been a big issue in Atlantic Canada. Our economy is different. We have a very significant gig economy here. Conventional employment doesn't look the same as it does in other markets, but I think regulatory risk can really pose some curveballs and some different pitches for folks that are in the industry attempting to ply the trade.
You know, we always say look outside first, and so the outside is outside of your company. Everybody has their head down, looking inside, trying to work real hard to lease, to do asset management, buy, sell, et cetera. But what's going on in the outside world is particularly troubling, I think, in this day and age, and more so than we've seen for quite some time. Geopolitics, economic, we've seen low growth around the world. 2% growth in almost every country in the world is unprecedented for this length of time. And so those factors, I think, present volatility that a lot of people just take it for granted that what's happening now will continue, but I think it presents a lot of volatility. And then in our particular business, everyone wants to talk about e-commerce. We think that it's a bifurcated situation. I heard someone say the other day that someone like Amazon is like the lion chasing the herd, and it's going to pick off call it the weakest retailers and the people with the highest margins. So for us, we're very fortunate. We have a grocery anchor, which is very strong, very low margin business, very tough for Amazon and other e-commerce people to compete in that type of space. And then our portfolio as a whole is a needs-based, location, convenience-based, service-based. So for us, we feel like it's bifurcated. Our part of the retail market is, we think, going to continue to do well and be actually a last-mile solution. But there's no question, as a whole, e-commerce is a risk, and it's moving so fast. People are trying to get ahead of it in terms of understanding it. So it's a hard one to know where it'll end up.
Risks and challenges. So for us, regulatory. When you get occupancy that's running at 98 to 99%, there's, I think, a motivation perhaps for government to intercede and look at rent controls. We don't have them here other than on PEI. So I think that there's a risk of that. But when you take a look at affordable housing, at Killam, our average portfolio rent would be about $1,100. Here in Halifax, actually, it's a little less. So that's very affordable. When you think of the cost of having a place, 2 bedrooms, heat included, taxes paid, I think that's very affordable. So I'd like to think that government doesn't do it, but Wynne in Ontario, as a populist move, she would have put it there when all the documentation and all the research would indicate to her that it's not viable. It's not the way to increase additional housing. It's actually a disincentive for developers. So there's a real possibility of that.